We're here at Chinggis Khan Hotel. We're at Miners and Suppliers 2016 Forum. And here we are with Mr. Barrie Evans from Churchill's. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm fine, I'm fine. It's a lovely spring day. I'm hoping winter has finished.
Yes. Okay, let's start our question with your company, Churchill. Can you
Yes.
tell us about it?
Churchill's was first started or registered in 1997 here in Mongolia. It's a wholly owned company set up in Mongolia. And we originally very much started in the food sector, where we set up an English restaurant and a small bakery facility in Orchin Pinnery Orden. And from there we moved slowly into the sector of ISO management systems because of my own past involvement in the UK with management systems. From there we were involved at the building of Barrie gold mine. We conducted the catering operation there for just over 2 years. And then we really started to get into certification, helping Mongolian companies down in UB, where we worked with Tiger Brewery, we worked with Mobicom, we worked with Apu Company, with Mac Market, a number of different companies where we've assisted them to develop, implement those international standards that help them, we think, to gain a much more efficient and effective operation.
From what you just said, you have been working with one of the biggest companies in Mongolia. In terms of that, how are they different compared to other international companies? Are they compliant with the other international organizations? So what kind of challenges does Mongolian companies face?
Yes, there were, for many of these companies, there are at the beginning, we say cultural changes required. Culture, not just Mongolian culture, but business culture as well. And none of that is difficult, but it's still sometimes quite tough change management to take an approach that you've not been used to following. So for many of the companies, there is this learning curve at the beginning, but fairly quickly, I think they adapt so easily, Mongolian businesses, into saying, this has potential for us, this is interesting, we can benefit from this. And that once we click over in that part of the culture, then it becomes so much easier to become very similar to international companies. There are no perfect companies, but there are good, well-run companies that are profitable and that are into the development of people, and that development of their business infringes all around their local area. For school kids, for universities, for everybody is able to become part stakeholder.
Regarding today's event, what kind of failures do you see in Mongolian companies when they try to be compliant with international standards? You were talking about ISO, PAS. How are they any different? Is it really difficult to achieve one of those standards?
No, in my opinion, not difficult, but likewise not easy. But it is something that at top of the company must lead it and be committed to it. Without that leadership of this requirement, be it environment, be it quality, be it any of these standard requirements, or following the laws of Mongolia, it is to be driven by top management. It must be, it is essential that they drive it and that they train and instruct and empower people how to then do all of this. And now we see the value of this so much with the OT site. The OT purchasing requirement is for Mongolian companies. It's a dream of so much business potential, but The buyers have standards, and that's where they want Mongolian companies to apply management technique to these standards, to run the company well, to have good governance, to think about quality, think about environment, think about employment, and have all of those smaller areas of what we're now terming governance, risk, and compliance. You can't just say, I'll do the quality bit. You've got to do all of it in order to present yourself as a suitable and reliable supplier.
I totally agree that there's a big potential in Mongolia.
Enormous, enormous.
Do you think Mongolian companies, especially the suppliers, are engaging the buyers enough? Is the engagement
No,
fair enough?
I have to be honest with you, with my own local business requirements in our food sector side, it is still extremely difficult to find the director's name. Who is responsible? Who should I contact in that organization? How do I find a description of your product? And companies are not aware. They're not aware that I'm a potential supplier to them of money for their goods. They have to now address this much better than they do. As we talk of the consumer in the high street wanting, so do companies who are buying. They want, and they have to be looked after to build this relationship. It's so important.
As my last question, I would like to ask you, what kind of policies or standards should Mongolian government apply in order to be competitive in the international level?
I think so many of these things are already there in place. We only have to look at Europe, we only have to look at Canada, America, Australia. We look throughout Asia. So many of these countries have all of the foundations established. Why go and reinvent the wheel? Why not say, come and tell us about it, or we go and learn about it, whichever. It's back to this knowledge. As managers, we haven't left school. We have come from school to university, and university, we've come to the school of management. And we must learn and continue to learn, always benchmarking to the best. Apple Company, Tiger Company, they benchmark against international drink companies. They're winners. They are winners.
Thank you very much. This was Barrie Evans from Churchill LLC. Thank you very much.